Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. This is one I'm very excited for, and you should be too. We're going to be having ourselves a Terran versus Terran on the map, Port Alexander, pardon me, spawning down in the bottom right hand side of the map. I'm excited to say, and it's an honor, it's Polt. You guys might be wondering what's going on with Polt. He was a very popular Terran player for a long time. I'm a big fan, and I know he has a lot of fans, but he recently just got out of the military after doing his mandatory Korean military service, and he's been working his way back up the ladder and going up at an astonishing pace. I'm also a big fan of his opponent, however, spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, it's Root SuperNova, the Korean Terran streamer. He plays at a very high level, not quite at a pro level, but still at like a very high level, plays pros semi-frequently and whatnot, and an absolutely great player. So this is going to be a great test to see where Polt is at, and I just thought, alright, I saw this match, and I thought, I gotta cast this. I know there's a few replays of him. I figure I'm gonna cast them all, so hope you guys will buckle up and enjoy them. Anyway, it is a Terran versus Terran. We're going to see how Polt's going to approach this matchup. As, of course, I mean, when you're away for a little while, you miss out on the meta and stuff. How quickly is Polt catching up on it? For now, though, he's going for a pretty standard double gas build here, following it up with his factory, and then we'll see what else he's getting on here. Okay, so SuperNova going just for a standard Reaper expand here. So the more passive option in a Terran versus Terran, as far as that goes, basically what it does is it just allows you to get up the slightly quick command center. It's sort of an interesting conundrum in TvT, I guess, that you'd think, okay, the person who's getting the first command center earlier, if they can get away with it, they're going to have a very good lead. But it actually works out most of the time that players will generally end up on even footing in TvT, despite one of the players going for, say, a much later command center or something like that. SuperNova, though, he does seem to have nefarious intent. Poor Polt could be on the receiving end of a proxy, perhaps, as this is a very common proxy, say, starport location. Polt is moving in with his first Reaper. SuperNova has to come on in to shoo him away, send Polt's Reaper back, and Polt sending out his first Reaper, getting out a second Reaper, and just continuing on with this Reaper Hellion production, so playing a very meta build here, or a very common build in the meta, and we see a starport now on the way here for SuperNova. Polt hasn't scouted it. Finding a proxy starport like this is absolutely huge. However, Polt might be finding himself in a nice position here. He's coming on in with his first Reaper. He's got his second Reaper. SuperNova waiting on these two Hellions before he can really push this back. So Polt just sharking around using his more muscly units at the time, but now that SuperNova does have his two Hellions out, he should be able to push Polt back, and Polt knows it. Polt getting up his own command center. It's a little bit later than SuperNova's, but nothing astronomical or anything like that. And okay, SuperNova, he's not going for a Banshee or, say, a Liberator. He's actually going for a Medivac, and the fact that he's making 4 Hellions here means that he's probably going to be trying to drop these Hellions into the main base of Polt. Polt kind of unsuspecting here. He's got his dudes just parked up at the front, just hanging out, making sure that SuperNova can't just waltz up on in there. But SuperNova, he's taking the more classy route here. Going to be flying on in with this Medivac. Going to be unloading in Polt's main base in a second here. We'll see where he's going to land. Polt has one supply depot in position, but SuperNova might just find the perfect position. He's actually going to fly. Oh, is he seen by Polt? Oh, there's just a second of a glimpse, but Polt needs to react to this. He could be taking a fair bit of damage. Hellion's running on in towards the main base of Polt. He's running those SCVs as best as he can. His Reapers and Hellions coming back to help deal with this. Cyclone has locked onto the Medivac, so he will pick off the Medivac, but these Hellions still may be able to get a bit more damage done. Polt has taken a lot of damage this game already. SuperNova's drop getting a lot of work done. And keep in mind, Polt was the player who opened up aggressive, yet SuperNova is the one who's got the damage done. And so Polt gonna be hurting a little bit. SuperNova, he made, looks like a Liberator behind this, a very nice follow-up. Liberator Harass, that whether you're a minute or 60 minutes into a game, can always be very effective. Now we see Polt, he's looking to get a bit of counter damage done here, moving in with his Reaper's Hellion, trying to poke SuperNova, not getting anything done though, so this Liberator gonna come on in as well, gonna be getting some damage done. Polt, welcome back to Starcraft 2, getting a bit of a beating here. Quick reaction time there, pulls the SCVs, but SuperNova, look at that, he just sets that Liberator back up. Polt needs to get something there to deal with that right now. And SuperNova, as this game is going on, he's getting up Infernal Pre-Igniter. SuperNova, he's a bit of an oddball the way he plays. There's no doubt about that, as he mainly plays, say, mech style. And even for mech, very quick Infernal Pre-Igniter is uncommon. It's just not something that you usually do in StarCraft 2. Now, what else do we see here? A Raven on the way for Polt, a second Raven. So those are very common here. Polt, though, he is behind, make no mistake. He's down 7 workers currently. He's doing his best to catch up, but when you're both producing the same amount of workers, it's pretty hard to do that. SuperNova, he's got himself a 3rd command center here. He's still got, oh, the Cyclone could actually be in a bit of trouble here. SuperNova overcommitted him a little bit. Polt, he can microback that injured Reaper, doesn't quite do it. Still will pick off the Cyclone there. A nice trade. He's got his Cyclone in position now to shut down that Liberator harassment. So let's see what we got going on here. Polt going into Viking production. He is behind. It's uncomfortable. And when a Terran, say your opponent, in this case SuperNova, is going into mech, and they've got themselves a lead, this can allow the meching Terran to get set up into a very scary position. So we're going to have to see what Polt's going to be able to do versus SuperNova here. You generally either have one or two choices. It's either try and kill the meching Terran early, or just try and drag the game out and beat them on that front. Polt is going to pick off this Liberator that's been hanging out here. A nice find there, not having to worry about that harassment anymore. The worker count is even up. Polt getting up his own 3rd command center. In the grand scheme of things, those worker kills, they don't mean a ton, say if they both eventually hit max out, but that's not necessarily something that Polt wants to do in mech versus bio, which Polt is going to be playing here. Looks like Polt moving out with all of his units here, trying to just get a good scout off, see exactly where his opponent's at, trying to spot, say, this potential 3rd base here for SuperNova. Well, it's not really a potential 3rd base, it is a 3rd base. Now we see SuperNova, he's moving across the map, he's got this sort of Cyclone Hellion composition. We'll see if it's able to get anything done versus Polt, as, yeah, I'm not sure it will be able to, but still, this is not a great spot for Polt. He's down on supply. SuperNova already secured his 3rd base. Polt's going to want to take his soon, ASAP, basically, and, let's see, this Reaper coming on in for Polt. Not going to be able to find a lot. SuperNova, he's making it, or he still has a couple Marines here, but he is all about that mech style. Polt, he is going into a good number of Vikings here, which is one way that you can deal with a meching Terran, if you can take control of the skies. It's 6-6. Polt does have the 2 Ravens, though, to help him out, which can help him overcome this deficit. He's now rolling out to secure his 3rd base. And we'll see where this game's going from here. Polt starts as 1-1. No upgrades on the way for SuperNova just yet. We've got Magfield Accelerator on the way for SuperNova, though. And he is just continuing on, mainly with this Hellion Cyclone composition, which is a little bit more fragile than, say, the standard Siege Tank mech. SuperNova is going into Siege Tanks behind this, though. And, okay, let's see. Combat Shield. 1-1 still on the way for Polt. Eventually he's going to have that bio and be able to begin moving out. Might be able to, say, pull SuperNova out of position with that. However, SuperNova has been given a ton of time this game in order just to basically do what he wants. Make no mistake, like SuperNova just powering up as a meching Terran. He's already got his 4th command center on the way. And the fact that he did so much damage early on is basically saying, right, I can do whatever I want. And Polt, just before he's really comfortable to move out, SuperNova is going to have had so much time to get prepared for what could be coming his way. He's already got so many tanks here. He's already got a very huge Viking count, throwing up a ton of missile turrets, and just a very comfortable Terran player right now. Polt is going into Marauders. Marauders a bit of a double-edged sword versus Siege Tanks. Being armored, I mean, the tanks do pretty good versus them. However, of course, if they can get onto those mech units, they get a lot of damage done. Now, let's take a look here. 1-1 on the way here for SuperNova. Polt's upgrades, though, are ahead, which could give himself a nice advantage. He's got his armory coming in. We take a look at the worker count. Polt, he's up to 64, which is a very healthy number. It's generally what you want as a Terran player on 3 bases, so he's caught up to that. Of course, he has been delayed a little bit, but both players are getting up to these pretty big armies, and all it takes is one quick engagement for you to for a game to completely turn on its head. TvT, it's a matchup. Just casting some of this lately, you just realize watching or playing enough TvT that it's basically anyone's game until it's over. TvT, I'd argue, is the matchup which has the most room for, say, comebacks. You're not dead till you're dead. You're not out of it till you're out of it, and you haven't won the game until your opponent GG's, basically. That's just how it works. That's the nature of the game, because tanks, say, drops, anything like that, it's just got so much potential for comebacks. We see Polt is looking to put the pressure on SuperNova. I don't think there's a chance he's going to be able to break this tank line, though, so he might have to look for something else. Meanwhile, SuperNova moving out on the map with this Hellion Cyclone composition, trying to get some nice trades off. Costs himself a few Cyclones there. If we look at the supply, both players are approaching max out. Generally, you'd say this favors the meching Terran. We see Polt, he's already planning on how to deal with this meching composition, though he's throwing up 2 starports amidst this, getting up a fusion core, getting up his ship plating to help out. As this game, when the players generally meet max out, that air supply becomes very, very important than when they're not maxed out, as it basically just gives you the edge. It gives you so much control and power. Both these players are really focusing on this for now. The SuperNova does have a superior Viking count. He doesn't have the 2 Ravens, which Polt has, which could be very useful in a snap engagement or something like that. And here we go. Polt just moving out with his Marine and Marauder composition right now. Just maybe looking to find something. SuperNova does reposition, though, sniffs this out, saying like, okay, yeah, I don't think Polt's going to be able to break that location. We'll see if he can find a drop. Meanwhile, Polt looking to pressure SuperNova a little bit. Going to find himself a couple of turrets. Nothing too major just yet, though. No damage. Looks like Polt dropping on top of all of these siege tanks. A very ballsy play. Surprisingly getting a lot done right now. Can he pick off all the tanks over here? He trades out a lot of bio and some medivacs for a fair few siege tanks. I don't know how that worked out. SuperNova, he's lost 6 tanks here. Polt lost a handful of bio. Probably an alright trade for the bio player, I'd say. Polt gonna have himself 2-2 in a second, or in 15 seconds, so he's gonna have himself a nice upgrade lead as this game is progressing. We see he's just got to deal with this meching Terran somehow. Meching Terrans are not unlike cockroaches at times. They're pretty tough to kill. No foul intended towards SuperNova, though. Cyclones locking onto a planetary fortress. They can't quite kill it. Look at this, though. SuperNova's coming on in with these Hellions. The SCV's lined up repairing this. Look at this. Cyclones locking onto it. They can't kill it, though. That lock-on actually gets broken there and expires. I mean, the SCV is putting in a lot of work there to keep that planetary alive, and that is very important for Polt. Both players on 4 bases still. We're seeing Polt. Okay, he's making Battlecruisers. And so he's just going hard into this air. Battlecruiser's not uncommon in TvT. Definitely the matchup, I'd say they're the most common as far as being a regular staple goes of the matchup. And we'll see if the BCs, I feel like they might be a little bit too early. Like, they're generally something that you want when you've got air control. However, that's not necessarily the case for Polt, as Vikings actually do win out versus Battlecruisers in a head-on fight. So it's a little bit concerning that he's doing this. Look at this, Polt. Nice move here, rolling in with these tanks. Going to pick off the sensor tower, try and shut down SuperNova's vision, getting some nice tank shots off, picking off whatever he can. Got to be careful, though. Liberator's getting set on up. These tanks, they got to roll on out of there. All of them making it out. Nicely done for Polt. And we are 14 minutes into this TvT. Not a whole lot of aggression has happened. Just a bunch of microaggressions, bro. As we see SuperNova getting up more starports. Just both these players realizing how important that air composition is. And we're actually heading into Battlecruiser versus Battlecruiser right now. Polt, 2 BCs. SuperNova, 2 BCs on the way. We could be having ourselves a very late game TvT right now. Polt just got his bio moving out on the map still. And if we look at it, SuperNova, he's in a very comfortable position as the meching player. That being said, it's Polt has maxed out. So remember those 10 SCVs he lost that set him horribly behind? They're not really relevant anymore. It's just both players playing with what they got, gonna try and find a nice play. We see Polt, he does have his bio, so he is being the more active player out on the map. Liberator's coming on in, gonna punish these siege tanks. That's probably gonna be 2 dead siege tanks if I had to say so. Okay, one of them makes it out, but the Cyclone's actually locking on there. Nice bit of damage there for SuperNova, getting like 4 or 5 tanks. A fair bit of damage getting done there. Of course, these players are gonna keep trading out supply as they get more and more into that air composition. Let's see, more BCs on the way for Polt. Not sure if SuperNova knows about the count of Battlecruisers that Polt is going for. Might be a little bit surprised by that. However, SuperNova does have Cyclones, and he's got himself a very nice air army, so I don't know what Polt's BCs are going to be able to get done. We'll see what the man's able to accomplish with them. We see this bio might be able to catch these Cyclones. That would be a nice find. They just roll right on by, though. They're heading towards this planetary. Polt needs to get in there to chase those guys down. Looks like he is actually going to be able to catch those Cyclones. They're fully committed. Can he save the planetary there? I don't know. Polt not repairing at the time. Just those Cyclones all going down, but they do pick off the base. A nice bit of damage done there. We're at the time, though, in which both these players are getting up a ton of extra command centers. SuperNova securing his 5th base. Polt already getting his 5th base up as well. Look at this, though. We're entering Battlecruiser territory right now. SuperNova moving out with his first 2 BCs. Polt, he hasn't really shown his hand just yet. He hasn't shown the fact that he's building up this gnarly air army. This army is just looking pretty serious right now. Even on the Viking count, up on the BCs, he's got the 2 Ravens here, which are no joke. We'll see if Polt actually used I wonder how up to date Polt is on the meta. If he interference matrices these BCs, they are committed. They are toast. Let's see, Polt, he gets 1 off. Does he get the 2nd? Yes, he does. These BCs, they are committed and are going down. This is a fantastic find for the red Terran player, able to pick off those BCs. One of them, oh, it does teleport out those slippery battle cruisers. Polt almost had it, but didn't pick that off there, but still gets 1 BCs. A wise man once said those cost as much as a command center. You can't afford to lose those. And let's see, high-sec auto-tracking on the way. This is the time in which Terrans are like, okay, we'll get all the upgrades we can. I guess that means building armor and high-sec auto-tracking. That's pretty much it as far as extra upgrades Terran needs to get goes. And let's see, Polt just getting up more command centers. This is a late-game TvT, guys. Welcome back to Starcraft 2, Polt. A very dangerous situation to be in. Not a comfortable matchup. I think if you asked 9 out of 10 Terrans would recommend not playing late-game TvTs. It is just, it's stressful, guys. Like, I stream a fair bit, and you guys will see me stressing out when I'm in a long TvT like this. It's fun. Nothing's more rewarding in StarCraft 2, I'd say, than a nice TvT that you eventually win out, but it can be rough. Right now we see Polt actually going into mass Ravens here, getting out 4 Ravens, figuring, okay, these are going to be pretty important. Interference matrix, anti-armor missiles, SuperNova, more Cyclones getting picked off, probably just wanting to trade those out. This is a very, very late game TvT. We see the Battlecruisers of SuperNova rolling on in once again, though. He's being very active with these units. Polt canceling a base. SuperNova looks like he's going to be doing the same here. SuperNova scanning for days, just trying to identify where these Vikings and Ravens are. Looks like, yeah, look at that. He just teleports out instantly. Very nicely done by the Blue Terran player. Those BCs, they can be very effective. There's no other harassment tool in the game like them that can get in and get out. Like, there's mutas, say, I guess, there's Phoenix and things like that. But the Battlecruisers, they can literally just nope out of there, literally just teleport away. They're like, we've had our fun, it's time to go. And that's exactly what they do a lot of the time, but you do have to be careful, and that's what SuperNova is doing. A meching Terran like him does have experience losing BCs, so he's doing everything he can to make sure that doesn't happen. That's why he was scanning all over to identify where the Ravens are, because they're the only thing that can prevent them from teleporting away in a Terran versus Terran. Let's see, this one Cyclone being a pain. It might actually be able to cancel this command center. Polt's tried to secure this a few times. I think this will be going down here. However, still SuperNova doing a good job denying this base. Looks like Polt trying to expand to the left side here. SuperNova, I think he's also setting his sights on this expansion. And right now we see SuperNova. He's got Battlecruisers to back this one up. Polt trying to throw up a few turrets, but it's going to be a little bit too late. He's just having a bit of a missed timing here. Every time he tries to take a base, SuperNova is doing a good job canceling it. Polt, though, this one Marine, is he going to kill this command center? Oh my god. Is he going to do it? That muscle Marine kills a command center. Looks like SuperNova, though, coming on in, trying to return the favor here. We've got the Ravens are sneaking on in. SuperNova's going to have to teleport out. Oh, just so close, dodging those interference matrices. Keep in mind, if those connect, everyone they connect with is a guaranteed dead Battlecruiser. And SuperNova just playing with fire, but paying attention expertly so far, using those units. Let's take a look. Something that's important to note in a late game situation like this: resources lost, and surprisingly, it's actually going ahead for the bio player, which is pretty uncommon, as usually it's the bio player that's throwing units against the meching player. However, it's actually going very well for Polt because he's just been sitting back. He hasn't been wasting anything. He's just saying, like, right, I'm just teching into air, and that's exactly what he's done. He's going for this option to deal with this. Got to be careful with those Marauders. He could probably have picked off that siege tank. No, you got to go for it, man. Like, this base is pretty exposed. Looks like a good option for Polt to get some damage done, and he is going in with this bio, going to cancel that command center, going to pick off this tank. This bio going to slaughter these turrets here, get some nice bits of damage done, and this is more resources lost, so Polt just picking off a base here. Meanwhile, SuperNova, we're hitting that stage. It's time to start sacking the boys. The boys, they've done a good job mining. However, SuperNova, he definitely doesn't need 75 of them anymore, these BCs. They're going to clean up these SCVs from the looks of it. Looks like Polt was like, oh, I got to hide my Battlecruisers, but SuperNova, he's well aware of them at this point. And Polt still just out on the map with this squad of bio doing everything that he can. Got a Marine denying SuperNova taking this base. He's denied this base so far. Both these guys are just trying to secure these critical locations. Look at this, 2 siege tanks moving out. SuperNova is like, I don't need these anymore, as it's pretty much all about the air versus air. Look at this, SuperNova building 6 command centers at a time. He is thinking of his future. He is saying, like, right, I'm going to be able to scan. I'm going to be able to drop heals for days. It's going to be great. Let's take a look at that orbital count. It's currently 8 to 9. SuperNova, though, he's saying he doesn't want to be behind in that. It's all about the command centers. Looks like this base is taking a bit of fire here. Polt's Battlecruisers coming on in. Okay, that tank goes down. Right now we're seeing this one muscle Marine here. I think this is a different muscle Marine, though. So, oh, is he going to pick off that SCV? He does. These Marines have really been hampering SuperNova's command center in the bottom left right now. Let's see, ship weapons on the way for Polt, so he's getting up on those upgrades. He is actually behind in the air-to-air upgrades, so a fight right now might not go his way. However, of course, it does all come down to the engagement, down to the fight. Look at the bank for both these players that's starting to build up. This is a long, long TvT, guys. You guys have wanted Polt. This is, you're getting a lot of Polt right now, because this is a long, long Terran versus Terran. Right now we see Polt, he's pressuring with the bio still, but we could be approaching a mass engagement right now. Let's take a look. Polt does have the Ravens, though. SuperNova has none of them, so Polt's air army is actually superior to that of SuperNova's. He's up on supply a little bit. Here goes in his Battlecruisers. They're actually going to be engaging each other. Looks like Polt wanted this engagement, though. He's going for it. Dropping interference matrix all over SuperNova's air army. It looks like Polt, his Vikings, his mass Viking count, and Ravens actually going to win out in this fight, and he is going to be shutting down this base. SuperNova takes some losses there. Polt did take losses there as well, but what did we see? We saw some Battlecruisers falling on each side. However, I think that was pretty darn good for Polt there, as just the general fight. The Ravens made a lot of work having to look at that. Polt dropping the Mule Hammer to repair his air army. And, okay, let's see. Look at this Polt. He's securing this base to the north. The more you mine, the better it is. The more cash, the better, right? I don't think anyone disagrees with that. So Polt looking to secure this base as quick as he can. Any mineral he mines off that's going to be very nice for him, while denying SuperNova this base. So that's very good for him, but looks like SuperNova has sniffed this out. He's saying, right, enough is enough. It's time for me to go and take a bit of counter damage back. And here he is. He's moving in with these 3-3 Battlecruisers. There's 2 missile turrets at this base. I think this base is going to be in a fair bit of trouble right now. SuperNova, he's just flying right on in here. We'll see. Polt can maybe blink his own BCs on top of them to force them away. That would be an interesting situation, that's for sure. We see SuperNova, though, he's on a bit of a warpath right now, just flying on in with these Battlecruisers, just picking off one base. Looks like he's going to be finding a second. Polt has been focusing on the left side, so he's just like, whatever, kill his bases, I don't care. SuperNova's going to keep going on in, though, and Polt needs to do something about this. There we go, he's moving back with his Vikings, his own Battlecruisers. They're out on the map. They got to be careful, though, because SuperNova's moving in with his own Vikings, and Polt drops a ton of Yamato cannons. I think he can actually win out versus those Vikings. Here we see, it looks like Battlecruisers engaging each other, blinking away. Polt doesn't teleport too far. Looks like the Ravens didn't quite get there in time. Okay, a bit of an interesting engagement going on there right now. We see both these players, they're very low on SCVs actually. They're just really relying on the mule factor. Polt's income, though, has actually dropped substantially. If we look at this, he's lost a fair few bases right now. He's got a good number of orbital commands still, but he's just trying to secure this base to the left. That's been denied. He lost this base here. He lost this base here. He's down to 16 SCVs. His gas income is still okay. However, his bank isn't that big, so Polt, he needs to, say, start dropping mules on one of these bases or something. He needs something, as this bank running out is kind of concerning for the red Terran player right now. SuperNova coming on in, going to be shutting down this base. He's actually done a lot of damage. Polt kind of neglected keeping his bases up and running. We see Polt moving forward with some bio right now, realizing that these turrets, they can't actually shoot ground, so he's going to be using this to great effect. Meanwhile, SuperNova just rolling around with his tank. So, but look at this. This is a nice bit of damage getting done by Polt. Wants to force that air engagement, but I don't think he can do it over all these turrets. That would be so risky as the red Terran, but looks like he's pretty determined to make this happen. Polt picking off a lot of turrets right now, resecuring this base to the right. He does need to keep his economy going here. It's very important. There we go, dropping mules for days. That'll give himself a fair bit of cash. Okay guys, here's my gripe. Pro gamers, gear down. This isn't Heart of the Swarm anymore. Blizzard changed it. This is a PSA for all you Terran players out there. And if you want, this is something that drives me a little bit nuts. Look at these players. You can only have 8 mules mining on a base at one time, 1 for each mineral patch. Blizzard patched that in Legacy of the Void. Polt's got like, that's a lot more than 8 mules right there. That's 5 extra mules he wasted. I mean, mules are pretty exposable at this point, but that's just my gripe. Whenever you're in a watching a late game Terran play and they drop more mules than they need on a base. Okay, turrets here doing their best versus these BCs, but turrets, they don't do a lot versus Battlecruisers. We see, looks like Polt Client flying on in here, trying to send SuperNova packing. Looks like he's got his bio over here, but SuperNova just teleports on top of it. So Polt, he's actually had a bit of a rough time this game, keeping his economy going. He needs to secure more bases. He was doing a good job denying the bases of SuperNova. However, SuperNova has actually done a great job returning that favor now. And as a result, Polt might just want to try and take like a big fight or something, because I still believe his army is better. He's down on the Battlecruiser count, but his Ravens are worth their weight in gold. Here we see Polt flying on north here. Looks like he's going to be trying to shut down all of these turrets, and will do so with these missile turrets trying to fight 3-3 Battlecruisers. It's a bit of a sad joke for the turrets. They just have a real bad time. Command center going to be getting picked off. A nice move by Polt getting this base. However, look at this SuperNova. He's just flying on in once again, and SuperNova can afford to lose more bases at this point in the game. Look at this, Battlecruiser's flying on in. Scans for days going down. Looks like SuperNova backs on out though. Look at this, SuperNova just being a pain, knows it's important to keep denying Polt bases. Flying on in here, going to be landing a barracks right now. Yeah, and just look at this. I mean, both these players are maxed out. They don't have a great income, though, so it's kind of weird to be talking about because they're maxed out for now. Look at this, though. SuperNova looks like he's planning on going into his own Ravens. He does have the superior bank for now. He's securing a base to the bottom left. He's pretty much got all the bases that he really wants at this point in the game. I think he wants one more, and then he'll have taken all of his bases, whereas Polt, he hasn't secured this base. He hasn't secured this base. He hasn't secured this base. Or at least one of those 2 bases. And that's generally something that you need to do as a Terran player who's playing the late game. You just got to keep that money going, otherwise you can fall apart surprisingly quick. Right now we do see Polt, he's moving on in. He wants to get these BCs. Polt's still in a position which his air army, I'd argue, is better than that of SuperNova. His bio is trading out with these turrets, just trying to work away on that. A very nice mechanic for the Bioterran player, that they can actually just shave off these turrets for days by running forward. Looks like Polt's Bio is going to be picking off more and more of these turrets, bullying SuperNova a little bit here just to get some nice value pickoffs. I wonder how many turrets Polt has killed this game. Look at this, he's even going to pick off an orbital command, and that's because SuperNova can't really step forward to defend this with his Battlecruisers. So a nice bit of damage getting done by Polt. Looks like SuperNova, if he pushes forward, he might even be able to get this base. Look at the scans going down on each other's armies. Looks like SuperNova might be getting a bit impatient, though. Might just want to go for it. And look at this, anti-armor missiles have been dropped on both fronts. Polt needs to toss down interference matrices or something. Looks like a big engagement is going down. Polt has been hit by that interference or that anti-armor missile, so his army is being shredded. It looks like SuperNova might just have a bit too much. This fight, this was a lot of build-up for this fight, but I think it is going SuperNova's way. Polt's Battlecruisers are melting. Just an expert engagement by SuperNova. Just waited so long to take a fight, and in the end it works out for him. Polt, he's making Vikings and Marines just to deal with these Battlecruisers, but he just had it a bit rough there. And that was a massive engagement for SuperNova. Polt's supply just dropped. That was a big engagement. Look at all this red BCs for SuperNova, but they are still alive. They can be repaired up. And that was pretty good for SuperNova at the end there. GG. A lot of build up for that final battle there. And let's go back and watch that again. I don't do that a lot, but let's just take a look here. Okay, one more back, and let's just put it into slow motion. Yeah, Polt, he was just so confident here, but SuperNova comes on in with his own chunk of Vikings and Ravens. They're just 2 Ravens, that's all he had. The rest of his supply was pretty much in Battlecruisers and Vikings, and Polt was very clumped up. Look at this anti-armor missile that SuperNova gets off, and then he just says, it's go time, let's go for it. Look at that, anti-armor missiles going down. Blink on in, SuperNova perfect surrounding. Battlecruisers are units that greatly benefit from attacking targets with anti-armor missiles on them, because basically the damage just gets amped up so much because BC's high rate of fire, and as a result Polt's army just melts. And very well done by SuperNova. BC's actually winning out there. The more BC's, the better apparently. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this cast, if you stayed to the end, make sure to hit that like button. Let's be ambitious. Let's try and hit 20 likes this video. If you guys stayed to the very end, feel free to hit that like button. It helps out. Shows me that you guys do enjoy this sort of commentary. And if you are new to the channel, feel free to help that subscriber count grow. I'm putting out more casts like this. I'll probably cast another Polt game later on. So if you guys do enjoy this cast, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.